Hi, everybody. My name is Jennifer. This is Metatron speaking, and today I'm going to be talking to you about negative karma. So, the way this came about, this actually happened to me yesterday. I'm going to end up telling you a story because I had an interaction with a new guide, um, and it ended up leading into this conversation about negative karma that is absolutely beneficial to all of us because negative karma, as you all already know this. Negative karma is probably we should have a better name for it. But basically, it's karma that's not in balance. It's karma where you've taken a little too much, and it's time for you to give in that area or to that person. So this all started off, I was actually sitting on my couch. I was like answering email on my phone for my business. um and so I'm sitting on the couch and I notice that my lips are kind of starting to tingle. So this might not happen to everybody, but for some people you will notice that when your guides are reaching out to you. That's how I notice it. If you're a person who is good at feeling energy, or you're just starting to be able to learn how to feel energy, the lips are this like very delicate, sensitive area. And so if you tune into it, it makes it more obvious because there's never just like, I mean, unless I don't know, there's never just like a random sensation on the lips, at least not for me. So if I get that, I know it's my guides. So I sit on the couch. I notice my lips are tingling. I recognize this as a sign that one of my spirit guides is reaching out to me. Here's the really cool thing. So they're touching my lips. I have a ton of guides who will do that to get my attention. I the energy I did not recognize, which I thought was cool because that means I'm getting better at distinguishing energies. I was like, "Oh, you're a very nice person, whoever you are, but I don't know you." So I just started talking to the energy because they were giving off enough love and enough gentleness that I wasn't concerned with them being someone I shouldn't talk to. So I started talking to them and I asked them, "Have I channeled you before?" And they said no. And I could tell right off the bat that they were a male energy and that they were a god. So then I'm like, "Hey, are you Egyptian? Are you Greek? Are you Roman?" And they're like, "Nope, nope, nope." And so then I'm like, "Oh, geez." And so I had to like Google to start getting more ideas because I ran out of ideas really quickly. So then I'm like, "Are you Hindu?" They're like, "No." They ended up being Chinese, and I have no knowledge of Chinese gods whatsoever. I literally had to go onto Google and look up Chinese gods and get the list of them. And then I just started going through the list. And as soon as I saw the name that was theirs, I just knew it. And so I validated, I'm like, "This is you." And they're like, "Yes." So I hope I pronounce it right. Their name is spelled Tian. Tian. Um, and so basically what I was reading, because I was like, okay, who is this guy? They are like a supreme god or like a god of gods. So I immediately like started laughing because Ra, Egyptian god Ra, who I work with all the time, um, he always calls himself the god of gods. And so I was like laughing. I was like, "So you're like the Chinese version of Ra?" And Tian is so good-natured that he wasn't offended. He could have been offended. I should have thought about that. He was not offended by what I said. He agreed with me. He's like, "Yes, yes, that's who I am." Um, which shows you how good-natured he is because I forget gods and goddesses are light and dark. So it's possible to make them angry. It's possible to offend them. They have egos. Um, So I was lucky. I lucked out. I'm so used to working with archangels and ascended masters that I forget that I need to be careful with other beings. Um, so he's a god of gods. He's not offended by me. And so then I start trying to tune into what he looks like. And at first, he looks like this point of light, like he's one light and it's like a golden color and it's just like radiating out. So I'm like, okay, can you choose like a physical body? So, because that's unfortunately my simple human mind still wants to see a physical body. So he's probably well beyond the desire to want to look like he's a single form. He's probably much happier being just a light body because he's used to being in the eighth dimension or higher where there are no bodies. I mean, you can project a body, but usually, I mean, you don't have to. You could just be a light. So, anyhow, so I ask him to choose a body. He appears as the age, trying to guess the age of these people is so hard. I think, what do you think? 30? Is that fair? Because I don't. He didn't look like he was in his 20s because that has a very youthful look. But I probably just bordering on 30 is how he looked. So he appears as a Chinese male, about 30 years old. He's got this beautiful dark green robe, and there's like gold detailing on this dark green robe. He is gentle. He touches my heart chakra, so I can feel him. I don't see him do it, but I feel it. Like my heart chakra is like, ooh, what's in there? Because he's essentially like stuck his hand into the heart chakra. I mean, is that okay? That's fair. Yes, he says that's right. And when you have a being who's such a high vibration and they um, overlap with your energy, and unfortunately, no matter how high our vibration is, we cannot compete with eighth dimensional beings and higher. We cannot compete with that energy. So they go into our energy, and immediately you notice it. It feels different. It feels uncomfortable, but uncomfortable because something dark is coming up, and you're like, ooh, that's uncomfortable while that comes up to be released. So it made me want to cry. It reminded me, that experience reminded me of Yeshua's energy. So Master Yeshua, um, he has like Yeshua is different. Yeshua doesn't even like. I feel like he just stands at a different distance and just like looks at me, and this will happen because it's like his energy is so powerful. But I don't know. So, anyways, it reminded me of Yeshua. So Tian, I feel like I'm saying your name wrong. Tian. I really feel like I am, but he keeps telling me it's fine. Tian has much love. He is handsome with long black hair, and it's like straight black hair. He stands straight with his arms at his side. He is holding a scroll in one hand. I have no idea what that was, but I was like, oh, that's a detail I'm going to write down. So he had a scroll in one hand. If any of you have knowledge of Chinese gods and goddesses, or this god in particular, if you have any idea what that scroll was, feel free to comment because I don't know. I didn't try to research it at this point. He is approachable. Are you lined up with me? I keep like scratching my nose, and so his energy is lined up with mine, and for some reason the nose always gets itchy when this happens. Okay. Um really want to itch my nose. He is approachable with gentle dark eyes in a beautiful shape. His dark green silk robe is lined in gold thread. I'm drawn to how gentle he is. His energy is just like so safe. Um, I am happy to feel his energy and never even channel him. I'm like, we don't even need to talk. We don't need to talk. We could just hang out next to each other. That would be fine with me because uh energy, when you can feel energy, energy tells you the complete story. Energy tells you things that words cannot tell you. And it would take hours and hours and hours of words, and it still wouldn't add up to how the energy feels. So it's like words are basically useless. So I'm like sitting there and I'm like enjoying his energy. And so I say to him, God of gods, I'm like asking him a question. God of gods, like, how do I put that into a proper sentence? I was basically saying, so you are the God of gods? Like, show me that, prove that. Why is that? Like, that's kind of the energy of what I was saying to him. God of gods? Question mark. And as soon as I said it, I wanted to cry. My soul, this is what your soul does. So if you're just like minding your own business, doing something, and all of a sudden you want to cry about something, your soul is validating something. So my soul was validating, oh, yes, this is a God of gods. And I had the distinct feeling that he had earned that distinction. Again, I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know the history or the myth or whatever surrounding this particular God, but it felt Yeshua like. Again, it felt like you have much compassion and you earned this. You deserve this. You worked for this. Yeah, he deserves to be given a title of honor, is what my soul felt like. And then he starts talking to me and he says, and so this is where we're going to start going down the rabbit hole, but we're going to end up with negative karma. He says, Jennifer, who are you in this lifetime? So I'm like, oh, shoot. Because then I'm like, great, this is a this is a personal message. I thought I was getting like a YouTube message, which it ended up being, right? But it starts off being directed at me. And I thought maybe it was like a rhetorical question. So I just waited and he waits and he's waiting for me to answer. Who are you in this lifetime? And so I'm just like, oh. And it's hard because my soul, I'm aware of everything I am. And I'm also aware that in this form, I demonstrate very little of who I am. Very, very human in this form. Obviously, I'm in a body. Um, so I tell him, I'm like, I'm the one that is used to not being accepted or understood. So I think of myself in terms of how I relate to society or groups or social situations or my family. And I'm like, who am I in this lifetime? I'm the one who's, I know I don't fit in, is what I tell him. I know I don't fit in. I am passionate about spirit, but I'm lukewarm about living. Also true. Passionate about the spiritual side of things. Not always super excited to be living a 3D life. And so he's asking me more questions. Do you think this is what you wanted? Yeah, okay. He's talking to me. He said, "Do you think this is what you wanted?" And I think back, because here's the thing. I've seen the exact lifetime that I had right before this one, and I've never shared it with any of you because it's reasonably traumatic. So I just haven't felt the need to share it. Um, okay, I'm going to explain what it is because I think it's going to help all of you to understand this better. I wasn't actually, I'd always like hesitated to share this one. Um, oh, okay. So and you can see I have like emotional reactions because I'm like I still have I haven't processed it yet. I have not fully processed it yet. And this is something I found out about. Probably pretty early on after I started being able to communicate with my guides. This is something that they brought up, and it was kind of horrifying, to be honest. So, the lifetime I had, e- the one right before this one, um, was like in Roman times. So we do not incarnate in chronological order. You can, bounce around, go backwards and forwards in time. The next lifetime you have, you might be in ancient Rome the next time, right? You could. You could be in the future. You could be like, you know what? I'm going to go right back to 2024. You could do that too. There's no rules. Um, so the lifetime before this one, I'm in ancient Rome. I'm a female. I am partnered to another female. This is the soul of my twin flame. So we are partnered, we are happy together. We decide that we want to adopt a child. So we end up adopting a little girl, and she grows up and she becomes an adult. She like no longer lives under our roof. She's an adult, but she's still living in the same city as us. There's this situation that happens where I had like gone to the market or something like that, and I was gonna stop by her house and make sure she was okay, is what I was told. I'm gonna stop by her house and check on her. I stopped by my adult daughter's house, and she is sleeping with a man, and uh, this becomes like a big scene and a big issue because this man is apparently in a lower social standing than her. And so this is actually very taboo in that culture to partner up with people who are not of equal or, social standing. So she's with someone beneath her. This apparently in that lifetime triggers me very much. Um, And this is obviously not giving a bunch of background information on this lifetime. I don't have it. But in a rage, I kill my daughter. In a rage, I kill my daughter. The boyfriend or whoever she was with runs away, right? Um, I hide her body from my partner. And so it's like our daughter has gone missing, and she's like, freaking out. Where's our daughter? Where's our daughter? Where's our daughter? And then at one point she comes to me and she's like, I know you know what happened. I know you have something to do with this. And then I like end up confessing that yes, I killed the daughter. And I'm not remorseful in the lifetime. And my partner, my twin flame, ends up committing suicide. So that all happens, and then I can see later in the lifetime the way that I die. I'm an old person at this point. I think I'm in my 80s. Like I'm not super young. I've lived a full life, I guess. So I'm in my 80s, and there's a man who like enters my home from behind me, and he like stabs me with a spear like through my back, through my stomach, and this is how I die. The man who killed me is the lover of my child who's like avenging her death. So all this happens. I die. I go back with like the archangels. They are reviewing my life with me. They're showing me what happened. And I'm not remorseful in that lifetime. Not remorseful. I'm not sorry that I did it. So based on my vibration, after we die, wherever our vibration is, that kind of lines us up with where we end up. So I end up in the second dimension, which the first, second, and third are essentially hell. We're in the third right now. I hate to say it's hell, but it kind of is. Yeah, first, second, and third are the lowest vibrations, and it's not pleasant there. And so I could see myself um, unhappy. I'm in hell, and I'm definitely unhappy that I'm in hell, right? And at some point, I realize that I regret those decisions, and Metatron is able to come and get me out of there. And Metatron has a new soul contract for me, which is this lifetime. So Metatron has this, I don't know what it really looks like. The visualization I got was like, oh, it's this huge stack of paper, right? It's like a huge amount of information that I'm agreeing to. And he takes me into this like room with this like oval shaped table, and around this table are different souls who are agreeing to enter into contracts with me to support me when I incarnated this time. So there was like I I remember Archangel Michael was there, Raphael, Gabriel, Metatron, Ashtar, Susan's soul was there, and there are other people that I haven't seen. There's lots of people there, but it's basically the meeting for me to agree to the soul contract to come in this lifetime. Um, and so when back to right now, when Tian is asking me like, "Do you think this is what you wanted in this life?" I'm like, did I really have high aspirations, Tian, or was I just trying to get out of the second dimension? Anything is better than the second dimension. Yeah, sure, great. I'll go take a third dimension Earth life. That's better than second dimension hell. I'll do it. Um, and he says, "You are telling me what you expected. I want to know what you think you wanted." And I tell him I probably wanted to be free and independent because I can see myself chained up when I'm in the second dimension. And Tian says, yes, free of the weight of karma. That is what you wanted the most. That is why Metatron included an aggressive plan to attempt to resolve all of it. So this is something that I've known for a while, that part of the goals of my soul contract for coming here this time was to try to clean up negative karma as much as possible. I'm trying to clear out all of it, but it's impossible, but I'm trying to. And so I asked him, I was like, is that even possible to clear all the negative trauma, or all the negative karma? And Tian says, no, but Metatron tried his best for you. So he just made a really aggressive set of plans to try to help me. And so I asked Tian, I'm like, so out of curiosity, I'm like, so how am I doing? Like, I'm like, as a percentage, like, if you think of however much karma I came here with as 100%, what percentage is left for me to still resolve? And he says 33%. And I was like, it's good. That means 2/3 of it is already gone. I'm like, oh, that's great. I was like, 33%. I was like, that seems impressive. And he's like, no, do not be impressed. There is much work left still, more than you can finish in this lifetime. And then I asked him, because I had heard this before, so I was just asking him, I was like, hey, does something happen on a spiritual level? Is there some relevance to reaching a certain like percentage? And he said that at 10% or less of negative karma, the soul is able to like ascend to any level when they are departed. It gives you more freedom, basically, to move up higher if you have very little negative karma. And I asked him, is that what I wanted? Like, was I coming here with the goal of trying to be under 10%? And he said, no, you wanted to clear karma with your twin flame. And I was like, did I do that because I was trying to um like repair the relationship with her in a way where we would like romantically be together? And he said no. And then I was like, okay, did I do it because I just wanted to be free of her? Like, I'm just trying to clear the karma so we quit having that like magnetic pull to each other. And he said, no, you felt shame for the ways you've hurt her. Um, and so of course, obviously, we've all had so many experiences with our twin flames and our soulmates. But of course, for myself, I have a lot of baggage with the most recent one. Let's see. I just want to make a note to people about when I'm referencing people going to lower realms after they pass away. So if you have a really low mindset, low vibration, low amount of love and compassion, it's possible for you to end up in the first dimension, the second dimension, or the third dimension after you die. It's not hell the way it's not hell in the how do I say this? It's not permanent. When you think of hell and you think about it from like a Christian perspective or Catholic perspective, it's like it's hell. You go there forever, you're cursed, you're damned, that's where you stay. And it's like, no, this is where you go because your vibration matches that space. And while you are in that space that is mostly or completely absent of love, it gives you an opportunity to have a change of heart. It gives you an opportunity to have a change in perspective. So it's a temporary space of learning, essentially. And that's why once I kind of realized I had made that I had caused problems, that I had made big mistakes, that Metatron was able to be like, all right, let's put you back out there. And so I asked Tian, I was like, why are we bringing this up right now? Why are we talking about this lifetime? And he said, I want you to be happy when you return. I want you to have reached as many of your goals as possible. I'm reminding you of the karma balancing work that you still have left. And he shows me, he's like, shows me that the business that I have. So Susan, my business partner, and I, we have a business called Orange Light Energy. We do all kinds of energetic healing, energetic anything we can to bring more light, more love, more freedom, more balance to a person. That's what all of our services are about, more connection to your guides. And he shows me that through this business, I'm going to be able to resolve a lot of my negative karma because I'm going to be able to reach a lot of people that I wouldn't normally be able to reach if I didn't have a business like this. And he also shows me um, that part of my karma will end up getting balanced from what I'm doing right now, from putting out information on YouTube, from putting out information on Medium. Um, you know, it gets to the right person. And for some of you, some of these videos make a relevant difference. Some of these videos, they're fun and you listen and whatever. Sometimes there's just that little nugget of information in the video and it really changes things for someone. And so this is part of what I've come here to do. Um and so it's interesting because I'm like, well, I have 33% of my karma left to clear. And I just started this business and I'll probably be doing it for like 30 or 40 years, right? Like, I'm not going to be stopping anytime soon. So that's a long time. So then I started questioning, well, how the heck did I clear the 2/3 before when I didn't even have the business? And so this is where it gets interesting. Um, he shows me that being a client of my business partner, so my business partner is Susan. So having Susan do work for me is why I have 2/3 of my negative karma cleared. It's not that I it's not that I earned my way there, which actually it makes now that once I found that out, that made a lot of sense because I was like, what wonderful things have I done that I could balance this much karma? Um, so I'm just gonna say this just so all of you know. So there are 3 different services available now that Susan does all 3 of these, and during these, Susan can clear negative karma. So we're going to talk about that. But the services are Ancestral Healing, Soul Deep Clean, and now we have a brand new service. It's called Guilt Removal. So all 3 of those services include, as part of the service, the removal of negative karma. So let's talk about that because before Susan created those services, I thought the only way you could clear or balance negative karma was to go out one by one and interact with each of these people who you have caused harm to. That is not the case. So let me explain it to you. So much, and here's another thing. I'll just go in order. Much like trauma, negative karma comes off in layers as it is available. So if you have had one of those sessions with us before, if you've had the ancestral healing or like the soul deep clean before, at that time, whatever negative karma she could remove, she cleared. If you were to come back to us at a later time and, like, let's say you do a different service, you do the guilt service this time, again, she's going to check, is there any negative karma I can clear now? So this is just like trauma, where not all of your trauma is available to clear at any one moment. It's just it's like a layer of an onion. Whatever's there is what you can clear. This is why if you do like a healing with Metatron session, or if you go to someone who does like a Reiki session, they can clear things and they can balance you. But then things get out of whack again, right? Because more stuff comes up. This is an ongoing process for all of us. So let me tell you more about it. So this is what Susan said. She said, being allowed to clear karma the way Susan clears it has to be part of your soul contract. This is something that was agreed to ahead of time. So most light, I would be surprised if there is a light worker who doesn't have this written into their contract, because this is an especially fantastic energetic time on earth to raise your vibration, to clear trauma, to finally make right all the things that have been wrong for previous lifetimes. So I would be shocked if you don't have this in your contract, but your soul contract has to allow her to do this. You had to have agreed to this before you incarnated. To clear the debt, Susan calls forward. So she's calling forward your higher self, essentially. And she's calling forward the higher self of all people that you have karmic debt with. And so these people have to agree, like their higher selves have to agree. Yeah, let's balance that and clear it. Let's just get it done. And so if they do that, then she can clear it. This is an alternate way to repay the debt instead of you meeting up with everyone in real life. For me, most of my karmic debt, so 2/3 of it, were cleared because I've had several sessions with Susan. I've had all of her sessions technically. So, but when she came out with the ancestral healing, I had the ancestral healing session. She came out with the soul deep clean. I had the soul deep clean session. And now she's come out with the guilt release service. And so I've had that done. So each time it clears whatever's possible. Yeah. And so Susan was telling me, she's like, well, you know, in the future, there's going to be more karma that comes up for you that she can clear for me. But my guides, and my guides are like, yes, they're like, but most of what remains, I need to do on my own, which makes sense. That's fine. Um, but incredible that this many, this much energy can be resolved in this lifetime. Um, Let me talk to you. That's everything I have for you. So this is the conversation on the negative karma, what we can do for you. Let me see if I can pull up Susan's new session. Let me just make sure I can see it on my side. I haven't actually taken a look at it yet. There it is. So it's called Guilt Release. And I just want to tell you what she says about this. So for those of you who are aware that you are carrying guilt, which is basically you're carrying judgment for yourself, right? You've made a mistake somewhere and you are holding yourself in judgment and you're not letting it go. You're like, nope, I'm in trouble and I'm going to stay in trouble for this like forever. That's what guilt is. Guilt is self punishment. Guilt acts as a toxin within the human body. It can create new traumas, make us feel deserving of struggle, make us doubt and fear our own behaviors, make us fear what we are capable of, make us fear repeating past actions and outcomes. But guilt can also manifest as physical pain, prolonged health conditions, or deterioration of mental or physical abilities. Guilt has the ability to move and to grow within the body, manifesting differently for each, depending on where within the body it is being held. So, in this session, she's working to release the guilt that is held from this lifetime and past incarnations. It's a process that requires time to be completed. And so you will receive these energies from her, but it takes 21 days for your body to receive all of it. Yeah, you're going to receive the energies each day for 21 days. The energies will come to you as you sleep, and that we do that in order to minimize the impact to you. We don't want to send you healing energies when you're at work or you're out trying to have fun or whatever. So we do it overnight so that you don't notice it and you just kind of go on with your day no problem, and you don't need to carve out time to receive the energy because everybody lays down to sleep at some point. So that is the session. It includes her working on your DNA to remove guilt from there. She will work with your higher self to allow the feelings of guilt to be released and to call back your power. She does trauma removal for the traumas that resulted in guilt, either in the current lifetime or past lifetime. She does trauma removal and energetic healing. She uses crystalline energies to add these to the areas that were affected by any physical manifestation of guilt. So if you are Let's say you've felt guilty your whole life. Well, that's going to wear down your physical body, and that could manifest as a lot of different things. And so, however that has manifested, if that's your situation, she's going to be making sure that she's healing and resolving the physical part of this as well. Yep. Okay. So, that is everything. If anybody knows anything about Chinese God Tian, let me know because I don't know, and maybe you guys know something about that golden scroll or just something interesting about him. Who knows? Let us know. Feel free to email us if you have questions about um, us releasing negative karma for you, or if you have questions about the guilt release session or anything like that. Just feel free to reach out to us. All right, this is everything I have for you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.